You know, it ought to be this way, that job creation and fiscal discipline are top priorities in the new Congress, and I intend to make that the result. This week, the United States Senate voted 81-17 to repeal a section of the new health care law that requires businesses to submit a special tax form to the IRS for every transaction over just $600. Even routine transactions like office supplies would be included. It's one of the mandates in the health care law that's getting in the way of job creation, particularly with small business. It puts expensive new requirements on employers, including those same small businesses where 70% of the new jobs are created. There's broad-based political support to get rid of this mandate, despite the fact that it was included in the health care bill. That's good news for the jobs and good news for the economy. I also voted for an amendment to repeal the entire health care law this week so that Congress can replace it with reforms that address real shortcomings in the health care system without raising taxes, without increasing insurance premiums, and without making it more expensive for employers to offer health insurance coverage. The new law didn't do nearly enough to reduce overall health care costs, even though rising costs are a major concern for American families. So instead of a law that drives up costs, Congress should pass effective market reforms to drive down costs, including medical malpractice reform. Separately, I participated in a Judiciary Committee hearing about the constitutionality of that same new health care law. The hearing should have been held before the law was passed, but it came 2 days after a federal judge in Florida struck down the entire law as unconstitutional. You know, the judge said that Congress had overstepped its authority under the Constitution by requiring nearly every American to be insured, or if you didn't want the insurance, you'd have to end up paying a fine to the Internal Revenue Service. Now, I'd like to go to the spending front here in Congress. On that front, I've co-sponsored a bill to strengthen the President's ability to reduce spending levels passed by Congress. Now, the President can already, under a 1974 law, send what we call rescissions to Congress. In other words, the President feels that he shouldn't have to spend the money that Congress appropriated. But that very same 1974 law doesn't require Congress to ever take any action. So it's really ineffective. This new legislation then would require Congress to act in a timely way on spending reductions suggested by the President. It also says that any money saved must go to deficit reduction, not to what Congress does too often, use it for more spending. Measures like this, along with a balanced budget amendment to the Constitution, can help bring greater fiscal discipline to Washington. And of course, that was one of the loud and clear messages all of us got from the voters last fall.